Hi, I am just going to click on these buttons. That sounds ridiculous. I am here to try a new thing and go live and show you my design process. So I'm Mary and I share my love of embroidery, and I want to do more about showing you how I go about my work and how I design projects. Some of them are really easy, like this one I'm going to show you, and some of them are far more traditional and complex. I do all sorts, but today I want to show you how I am going to turn this giant denim tote bag into a kantha inspired piece of needlework. So I got this in the sales from Hush for £17, down from 69. Got another one that's a bit different. So I thought these were brilliant canvases, basically, to show me to embroider. And you know, everyone loves a bit of personalization. It's very boring, but denim is durable and it's good to sew on. So I've been wanting to do some kantha style swirls. Kantha is a traditional technique from India, which is running stitch type of patchwork, but very much it turns sari scraps into quilts, really. You'll see fancy jackets made out of old kantha quilts and turned into jackets on websites like Hush and stuff like that. I want to do that swirly running stitch and build up colour blocks with it. So I've been inspired to look at my colours from this needlepoint cushion I designed 6-7 years ago. I've got various ones slowly in this series that I do as I need them in front of the telly and feel like doing needlepoint. But can you see how I've got all these swirls of colour, and I want to do something along those lines on this bag, but with spaced out running stitch, not full stitching. So I've started with, and this is where you don't have to use stick and stitch. It has its purposes and it's good for some things, but to be honest, I think it would drive me mad on this. I started with tissue paper, tracing paper. Old-fashioned. I went to school and uni and did engineering at uni in the 90s, where we still literally had to cut and paste. So though Procreate and Adobe and drawing and buying stuff printed is really useful and it's really good for some things, felt Sharpies and some tracing paper is still fine. I sellotaped together some tissue paper to fit half the side of that bag. I went round with a pencil and I drew some splodges, a bit like the camo, but then I realised that to really work with the kantha running stitch, so I'm thinking I'll go round that and then swirl it in, and I'll do that with each bit. I made it more blobby, for want of a technical word, and then I took some really high-tech Sharpies and coloured them in. But before I chose those Sharpies, I chose my colour palette. Now, I've got to still work out how I can get my overhead camera working with this live, because this is the first time I've done a live, and I've taken a view that if I don't do it live, I'm never going to do these videos, because that means finding time for editing, which doesn't seem to happen too much in my world at the moment. So I knew for camo to work, you tend to need 3 or 4 colours, possibly 5, because I've done the playing around with those ones like on the cushion. So I thought, I love my Perlé size 5 threads. This one's Wonderful. These are DMC. Can you see that they're nice and thick? They will stand up boldly on this denim. So you think about this, you can see it there, lots of individual running stitch lines built up, not too close, maybe a centimetre apart, to get some swirls together. I'm thinking stitches centimetre cadence, centimetre gaps of running stitch. I wanted these. I love a perlé. I think they're better than a stranded floss for doing things on items that are going to be worn and used like this, because there is a twist, and I actually think it's better than Sashco as well, because the twist not only makes it more durable, it's not going to It's not going to snag as much when it's in use. It's easier to pull through the threads, and I've got really problematic hands and they're very weak, and that really makes a difference, that sheen and that twist. So I chose Perle, and I wanted bold colours, but I immediately ruled out a yellow, and then I ruled out a light green, because I also know these bags are going to be used in the real world. I'm going to use these to take stuff to my classes, and those colours will get dirty. Now, these threads are washable. They are colour fast. That's not the point. It's more the wear and tear and grime will build up. Even if they can wash, how often am I going to wash it? I'm a disabled mum with 2 kids. You know, keeping things pristine isn't my main thing. Working out how to make my embroidery practical is one of the things I put a lot of thought into. So I've got my hot pink, purple, a mid but bright blue, and this gorgeous sort of leafy green. So then I played around with said Sharpies, and that is my design. Now, how do I get that to this? Well, friction pens don't work on denim very well. I'll do another video on a friction pen. That's the heat erasable pen. They don't show up brilliantly. And chalk pens will just rub off as I use this and as I sew it and bend it and move it. So I'm going to go to an old-fashioned technique using tissue paper. It's not carbon paper, it's tissue paper. What I will do is I will take a sheet of tissue paper and I will trace the outlines on this. This gives my colour guide, but I'll trace those black lines. I will pin it to my bag. And then I will do some tacking stitches in just normal sewing thread. I will go around those lines I've traced, and I will just do a tacking, it's a long loose stitch around the lines that I want to keep. And what I might do is then sew them in black in the end anyway. No, let's just decide. I'm going to do it with that. Then I can pull away the tissue paper, and that will give me the stitches left on the bag. Then I can take a quilting hoop. You could do it with an embroidery hoop. This is an 8-inch. They go up to 12 inches. They're really useful. I love them, but sometimes on bigger pieces, a quilting hoop's a bit better. You can't get the same tension. Oh, look, I shall frame myself. You can't get the same tension, but actually when you're working on denim, which has really bulky seams like this, a made-up denim, or this one's got a pocket with a zip, it's also lined, and I've just decided I'm sewing through the lining. I'm not that bothered. I thought about how I could unpick it, but I'm not going to bother. This needs to be easy and functional. Anyway, I'm going to use this quilting hoop, which you can then use with a hoop stand, but you need a really sturdy one. I do love my Lowry's. That's a different video as anyway. Lowry works down some metal ones. I need some sort of, you know, commission for the amount I recommend them. And then I shall get my needles, and I use, for Perle 5, I use a chenille, at least a size 20, also known as crewel needles. They've got really big eyes and they're thick, and they're really a bit easier for my weak and feeble hands. I'm trying to look. I normally have one of my fancy threaders. Where's it gone? I've got some brilliant needle threaders for this. I should have one here. These are the ones I recommend. These are fantastic. I am a chartered mechanical engineer, and that gets my seal of approval with that hat on. And just a simple pair of scissors or snips. So that's my process. That's my inspiration, and that's how I plan. Just wondering where my cushion's gone to show you. Who knows? Here we are. That's how I plan to embellish this bag, this lovely denim durable tote bag that is so useful, with a sort of cross between camo and the Indian technique of kantha. And I will keep you updated on how I get on with it and show some updates. So keep an eye on the shorts. On here, I might pop on with a sewing video, but also keep an eye on my Instagram at marybroddle_embroidery. And you'll see the progress shots. I'm going to get this one ready because I want to go and sew this in front of the telly tonight. Happy stitching.